So, welcome back to Young Bloom's Flower School on YouTube. Lovely to be with you. Got an interesting project for today's episode. I'm going to look at doing a sustainable way of creating a hoop out of clematis foliage that a friend of mine cut down her clematis bush and said, would you like the leftovers? And I said, yes please. Created it into a wreath. I'm going to create a foliage garland and then attach it to the wreath. To just kind of think about another way of doing things that doesn't involve foam, that doesn't involve anything that's not sustainable, that's compostable to the most part, as much as I can. So, let's get started. So this is the wreath that I've made out of clematis. It is approximately 60 centimetres wide and it's about 10 centimetres in diameter, or width I guess, the actual wreath itself. So it's quite chunky, it's quite nice, and I like it because it's quite a loose feel to it. It's not tightly bound. I kind of tried to intertwine it all so it stays together. Sorry, my dog is here. That's Winston. So yeah, quite sort of relaxed. I like that it's got tendrils kind of coming off it. It's not too formal. So that's going to be the base for which I attach greenery. So I tied it on in a knot at the first piece of ivy, and I am very simply binding it as tightly as I can around each piece. I'm keeping everything quite short so that it doesn't get too bulky, but I'll show you. So laying it on, holding the string quite tightly towards the to where I'm binding, so you can see I'm kind of gathering all the bits and making sure that I've bound the bit before with the bit that I'm just adding, if that makes sense. It feels okay thus far, and I think what I want to do is attach it to the wreath. I think for that purpose it will be okay, and I think it's really good to try stuff, you know, using something that is compostable. I know over maybe a longer period of time, but it is compostable, as opposed to using wire. And wire is a lot easier, I know that, but it's a choice. Like anything, it's a choice to try and adapt what you're doing so that it's easier on the environment. So I think that's quite effective. It looks okay, it feels, you can see at the back how tightly it's bound. I think that will work, be able to loop it onto the wreath and attach it. So I'm going to carry on a bit and come back to you when I've done more. So I've created the garland and it feels okay. I think the trick with string is just to make sure you're binding it super tightly so that it doesn't come unravelled. And I think for this it works because I'll be tying it onto the wreath base. So I just wanted to show you how I'm going to attach to make it circular. So I've got a section of the start of it, I've got the finish of it, and I'm just going to bind them together with the string. I guess it's a bit fiddly, but worth getting right. And again, I'll just loop it round. So take the string round and feed the entire ball of string through, and then that's tight. So I can snip it off then, and I have a garland. Right, so we'll attach it to the wreath and see how we get on. I've attached the garland to the wreath. You can see the chrysanthemums that I've popped in. I've test tubed them, the nice sort of peachy autumn colour. So the foliages that I've used are just hedgerow ivy with its nice winter berries now forming, and also the yellow and red berried one is Sanvasia, I think that's how you pronounce it. So the Sanvasia has got these really pretty red berries along with the leaves that are turning a nice yellowy gold colour, so quite effective. But there you go, just a really simple way to create a garland that you can then attach to a mechanic, whether that's a wreath base that you've made or, you know, anything else. We've used piping, plumbing piping, and made garlands this way, all quite effective. But as always, hope you found this helpful, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.